How Maya ended up with $3,200 in credit card debt without ever feeling like she was overspending. Maya is making her credit card payment. Her balance is $3,247. The bill says the minimum she has to pay is $42. She pays the $42. The app gives her a green check mark. Her credit card company sends her a friendly email thanking her. Maya feels responsible. She paid the bill. She is in control. Maya does not realize that if she keeps doing exactly this, paying the minimum every single month, it will take her 17 years to clear $3,247 of debt. And by the time she's done, she will have handed her credit card company a little over $4,000 in interest. For brunches, she doesn't remember $3,200 in debt without ever feeling like she was overspending. By the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly how a credit card turns $42 a month into 17 years of your life, and why the people who use credit cards the smartest never carry a balance at all. What a credit card actually is. Let's strip the marketing off a credit card and look at what it actually is, because the misunderstanding here is the whole game. A credit card is not your money. It is not a payment method. It is not a convenient way to spend your own dollars. A credit card is a small loan you take out every single time you swipe it, and the lender charges some of the highest interest rates in the legal economy. Here's how the loan part works. When Maya buys $40 of groceries on her card, her credit card company, let's call it a bank, pays the grocery store $40 on her behalf. In that instant, Maya now owes the bank $40. Then the bank does something quiet and important. It gives Maya about a month, called the grace period, to pay that $40 back. If she pays in full inside that window, the bank charges her zero interest. The loan was free. That's the version of credit cards rich people use. Free, short-term loan. Pay it back every month. Walk away clean. But if Maya does not pay the full $40 back inside the grace period, if she only pays the minimum, or a partial amount, or nothing, the bank now starts charging her interest, and not gentle interest. Credit card interest rates routinely sit between 20 and 30% a year. There is almost no other consumer loan that costs this much. So a credit card has two completely different personalities, depending on which path you take. On the green path, it's a powerful tool. On the red path, it's one of the most expensive products in your wallet. The bank, of course, would prefer you take the red path. That's where their profit lives. Almost everything about how credit cards are designed, the minimum payment, the rewards, the slick app, is gently nudging you down the red one. The minimum payment trap. Now, let's talk about the single most expensive button on the planet that doesn't look expensive. The minimum payment. When Maya looks at her statement, she sees three numbers, a balance of $3,247, a statement balance she could pay in full, and a minimum payment of $42. $42 feels reasonable. It feels like the system saying, hey, we know money is tight, just pay this much, you're fine. It is a small, friendly, manageable number. Here is what is actually happening when Maya taps that button. Of Maya's $42 payment, only about $5 actually reduces what she owes. The other $37 vanishes straight into the bank's pocket as interest, the rent she pays for borrowing money. So even though Maya made a payment, her debt barely moved. She still owes the bank over $3,200, and tomorrow, that balance starts charging interest all over again. The minimum payment is designed to keep you in debt, not to get you out of it. This is why the math from the cold open is so brutal. 17 years of $42 payments, about $4,100 paid in interest on top of the original $3,247. By the end, Maya will have paid roughly $7,400 to spend $3,200, more than double the original balance, and she'll have done it slowly enough that no single month ever felt like a crisis. That is the trap. The minimum payment doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like responsibility. That's the whole point of how it's designed. Here is the real world rule worth tattooing somewhere on your brain. If you cannot pay your full statement balance every month, you cannot afford to spend on the card. That is the rule. There is no second rule. Because the second you start carrying a balance, the rewards, the points, the cashback, all of it is wiped out instantly by the interest. Every cent. A 2% rewards card charging 25% interest is not a deal. It's a 23% loss disguised as a perk. How Maya quietly got to $3,200. Let's rewind 8 months and watch how Maya quietly built her $3,200 balance, because this is the part of the story that's going to feel uncomfortably familiar. Maya did not have a wild spending month. There is no shopping spree in this story, no drugs, no designer handbag. Maya did not even think she was overspending. Month 1, a $340 vet bill she didn't budget for. She put it on the card, planned to pay it off next paycheck. By next paycheck, rent was due. The $340 stayed. Month 2, a $190 flight for her cousin's wedding. I'll get that one back next month. Same story. Month 3, groceries on the card 3 times because checking was thin. $215. Same story. Month 4, a $58 top, a $42 brunch, a $28 DoorDash. None of them by themselves felt like overspending. Together with last month's groceries, the balance was now over $900. Month 5, the bachelorette weekend. $340 for an Airbnb share, $120 for a dinner. Maya knew she couldn't really afford it, but she couldn't really not go either. Notice what is happening. Maya is not making bad decisions. She is making perfectly understandable, average, normal young adult decisions. The problem is that each one on its own looks tiny, and the card lets the tiny decisions stack. Credit card debt almost never comes from one big mistake. It comes from 100 small ones the card lets you forget about. By month 8, with interest now compounding on the previous month's balances, Maya hits $3,247. She is paying the minimum dutifully every month. She has never missed a payment. Her credit score is fine. Everything looks fine. But she is now stuck in the exact loop the credit card company designed her to be stuck in. New charges go on. The minimum keeps the balance technically manageable. Interest quietly grows the rest. And every month, the bank earns a little more for doing absolutely nothing. Using a credit card. The Ben way. Now, let's flip the camera and look at how Ben, the guy who quietly saved $100,000 by 25, actually uses a credit card. Because here's something that surprises people. Ben uses a credit card. He uses it for nearly everything, and he has never paid a cent of interest in his life. Here's his system. It's almost embarrassingly simple. First, Ben only ever charges what he could have bought with cash that same day. The card is a payment method, not a borrowing tool. If his checking account doesn't have the money sitting there to cover a purchase, the purchase doesn't go on the card. Period. Second, Ben has autopay turned on, set to pay the full statement balance automatically every single month, not the minimum, the whole thing. So the moment a bill is generated, it gets crushed in full, on time without him thinking about it. Third, because of the first two habits, Ben actually does collect the rewards. The cashback, the points, the travel perks. The bank pays him a small percentage just for using the card, and since he never pays interest, that percentage is pure profit. Fourth, his emergency fund, that brick wall from Ben's video, means he never has to use the card as a substitute for real money in a crisis. When something unexpected happens, the wall absorbs it, not the card. Credit cards reward the people who don't need them and punish the people who do. The trick is to make yourself the first kind of person. There's a quiet bonus to Ben's system that Maya is missing entirely. Using a credit card responsibly and paying it off every month builds something called a credit score. Over years, Ben's score has climbed, and that score now quietly saves him money on his car insurance, the interest rate on his future mortgage, and even some apartment applications. A high credit score, built for free by using a card the right way, will save Ben tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. We'll do a full deep dive on credit scores in a later video. But for now, just know that Ben's habits are paying him invisibly too. What Maya and you do next. So, what does Maya actually do? And if you're carrying a balance right now, what do you do? 5 moves in order. Stop adding to the fire. Before figuring out how to pay off the card, take it out of daily rotation, put it in a drawer, remove it from Apple Pay, switch back to your debit card for everyday spending. You can't pay off a balance that's still growing. Look at the full number, open the statement, see the real balance, the real interest rate, the real minimum, and crucially, what the full payoff would actually look like. Most people in credit card debt have never looked at all 4 numbers on one page. You can't beat what you refuse to see. Pay way more than the minimum. If Maya pays $300 a month instead of $42, her debt is gone in roughly 12 months instead of 17 years, and she pays a few $100s in interest instead of $4,100. The amount above the minimum is the only amount that actually attacks the principal. That number is the entire game. Consider a balance transfer card. Carefully, some credit cards offer a promotional 0% interest period if you transfer your balance over, usually 12 to 18 months. Used right, this can give Maya breathing room to attack the principal without interest piling on. But it only works if she actually pays it off inside the promo window. Otherwise, the interest snaps back, sometimes higher than before. Tool, not magic. Build the wall even now. Even while paying down debt, start a small emergency fund, even just $500 to start. Because if Maya pays the card down to 0 with no cash reserve, the next surprise expense puts it right back on the card and the loop restarts. The wall is what breaks the cycle for good. Maya does these 5 things. The debt is not gone overnight, but the trajectory flips. The bank stops winning. She does. Closing. Maya isn't real, but $3,200 of credit card debt is a small story. The average American carrying a balance owes more than double that, often across multiple cards, and the interest math we just walked through is running on every dollar of it, every minute, every day. If you have a credit card, you're not in trouble. You have a tool. What matters is which path you put it on. The green one Ben uses, or the red one Maya stumbled onto. The card doesn't care. The bank, quietly, prefers one over the other. You get to choose. And if you don't have a credit card yet, this is the time to learn the rules. Before the first swipe, not after. This channel teaches you what school didn't. No gurus, no scams, no buy my course. Just the truth, animated, new video every 2 days. Next week, we meet Omar. He's got 4 cards, a $9,400 total balance, and one specific trick that pulled him out of it within 2 years without earning a dollar more. The debt payoff method that actually works. Welcome to the club.